you are live. Sorry about that, friends. Totally lost track of time.
That was our fault.
Just chatting away back here. No, that's not what I wanted to click on. Did anyone get an alert? I always like to wait and see, like, did someone pop up?
We're
One of these days,
as
I'll
of
have this
YouTube, we're live
prepared.
right now, so we're good. We're live right now.
Hooray.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to worry about it.
It's chunky thing.
Hello, friends. We're back again. This time we're discussing Throne of the Wicked by Kerri. Oh, that's not true. I combined the two series.
I was waiting for it. One of us was going to do it.
I knew it was going to be me. Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco. I don't think I've announced books. I need to get better about that. I'm usually just like, let's talk. Hey, Liz.
Hey, Liz.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I want to rate this book.
I'm stuck.
Like so torn because I love her.
Give it 5.
And that's what I like. 95% of the book, I was like, yeah, 5 stars. And then I feel like that ending just kept going, and I'm like,
okay, it wasn't just me. I thought I was just being nitpicky. That ending was too much.
I felt like it went on long, but I also feel like she's doing it to set up other books, not necessarily in this series, but in the world, because we definitely have that pride in Lucia. I think that's how you say her name.
I definitely want the book reader story.
I know, Gluttony and the reporter. Yes, that was one of the things I highlighted in the book is her one line about like Gluttony saying something. I was just like, oh, these two, it's so wonderful.
Like I really liked parts of it, and then parts of it irritated me. Like I was like, why?
We've got Charles. I'm sorry we didn't wait for you, Charles.
Wow.
You're 3 minutes late. Okay, we already started a minute late because I failed to notice the time. But I appreciate you coming on. I'll forgive you.
I want your thoughts, Charles.
What book are we talking about?
What book are we talking about, Charles? We're talking about Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco.
This chunky thing?
I don't think, did I read that?
Yes, you did. It's on your Goodreads. You didn't rate it, but it's on your Goodreads.
You checked my Goodreads?
I did, sir, because I was on Goodreads today, and I was like, you popped up for some reason. I don't know if you added a book or something, and I'm like, oh, let me see what his currently reading is, because I'm always curious about people's currently reading them.
And I think last week you told us that you rated it a 3.5 because I was really curious. I don't think I had started it at that point. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh, yes. I rated it on Audible.
I
haven't rated it yet on Goodreads.
I believe that, Liz. I feel like I follow her on social media, and I've seen that she does have plans to go follow other. I didn't read the acknowledgments. It's one thing that I didn't get to. I literally finished this an hour
ago. There's other brothers.
Yeah.
There's, I think, Sloth. No, there was a hint of the next brother.
Pride and the first witch is either first witch or first witch's daughter. What's her name? Lucia, I think sounds right.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm saying that right.
I mean, for how I listened to it on 2-speed, yes. See, I haven't read the Barnes & Noble exclusive second yet, so this is
either.
This is my second copy with the exclusive scene in it, so I've got to do that. But, friends, I bought the Waterstones edition because they told me they were going to have sprayed edges, and you know I'm a little whore for them sprayed edges. Look at how pretty!
Okay, did you like the book, though, Jen? Yeah. Okay, good.
Is that really a question, Charles?
I'm just making sure. I was like, I hope Jen didn't go out and buy all these special editions and ended up hating the book.
I mean, I was nervous about it too. Well, and I think you hadn't been on just yet. So I was telling Alicia for like 95% of the book, I really like her. She's almost always a 5-star read for me. And it was feeling like a 5-star, but that last 5% just felt very long. And I'm like,
she went too much into the happily ever after.
I get like it's trying to set up the next book in the world because it is considered a standalone. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a standalone in the essence that this is Envy's only book. he'll be in the others probably, just like the other brothers were. But yeah, I just think that they take place in the same world, but they'll follow different people.
Yeah.
And Charles, I heard that you think that we needed to read the first 3, or that you needed to read the first 3 to fully appreciate everything.
I feel like you should. I feel like I should have.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't like the technical standalones that are in an already existing universe, especially when it's contemporary, like when it's not at the same time, but around the same time, where you can see characters from the other series pop up in this book. I'm fine, like, if they do a standalone, if it's like 1,000 years
different,
or like a completely different timelines. And you may know if you read the original series, but you don't have to. It's a completely different thing. But I feel like this one, you would get a lot.
It was way too close to the original 3.
You would get a little bit more out of it had you read them. But the special and the regular edition, that's not a problem. I basically did the same. Oh, no, it was canceled. Oh.
See, this is the best when I don't buy physical books. I don't have to worry about this.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's so much to talk about. Like things. Did you guys feel like it was predictable at all, or no?
Parts of it.
No.
No? I was surprised. Maybe it's just me. Like I was always sleuthing for.
Well, because I didn't quite understand the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get too much of it either.
That was so nebulous. Like, I know they opened up with the rules, and I knew what was going on with Envy's court, but I didn't. It took like all the way into the end to find out what was going on and like what was behind the reason for all this. So I was like, "What is this game?" I'm so confused. And the game was run by the heroine's father the whole entire time.
Yeah.
I figured she was Faye. I was just, as soon as they said, oh yeah, he had two sons and 2 daughters, I'm like, well, she's clearly going to be one of the princesses.
I didn't even pick up on that because I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. I'm just going with the flow in this book. Because at first I was thrown off. I was like, this is historical?
See, I think
that threw me off so hard. I was like, I did not expect this to be historical romance.
Well, I think it was just trying to set up the location.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
I think she really does good historical. I just think the mixture of both doesn't work for me. I like her writing. Like, I like how she writes. Like, I just the mixture.
Ooh, the spice. Oh, Charles, you had it. I don't know how to describe it.
It was like what you were 90% tease. The tease was good.
That's the tease portion of it is I ate it up. But they were always trying like not to fall for each other, and that always drives me crazy because I'm just like, just talk to each other.
Just be
a secret. I got Envy's reason though, because like it's in his sin. Like once he has something, then he's no longer envious of it, and then he wants to move on to the next object of his obsession. So like that's why he has that one night rule.
Well, that and that one lady broke his heart.
Yeah.
So I think that was also what did it. And I think, Liz, to the historical aspect of it, I think that specifically had to do with
London, right?
Yeah.
I created a character.
I'm pretty sure like the London scenes were historical.
Yeah. Waverly Green.
Yeah.
Waverly Green, yes. I think that's the historical aspect of it, just because I feel like we were in like historical Rome in the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. Hey, Nicole, no worries. I knew that you weren't a huge fan of her, and I didn't know if you'd blow a credit on it, so that's fine. I'll allow it.
Really? So Jenna's the only fan? You're the only fan of Kerri?
I needed the audio because there was no way I was going to be able to physically read this whole thing.
I mean, I was doing good with it, and then I just didn't plan enough time. Say hi and happy Wednesday. Hi and happy Wednesday. No worries, no worries.
Shannon, I need to message you later about
who?
An idea that I have, and I want to get your thoughts.
Oh, me or Charles? Sorry, I missed that.
Shannon.
Oh,
Shannon. Okay.
Got it. Yeah. They're complicated. I mean, I'll allow it, but just don't hate me for loving it.
I want to read Stalking Jack the Ripper because I haven't read it.
Don't read it.
Huh?
I think if you read it now, I think you probably won't like it.
I'll probably get annoyed.
That is true.
I do feel like it's like dated YA.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Give it a shot, and if I don't like it, I'll give it to my friend's daughter. She's at the right
800
age.
pages. Yeah, this was probably the bulk of it because I think it was almost
700
pages. It's 5 something.
Yeah.
627 in the original edition.
I love that you love that I love it.
I remember liking Stalking Jack the Ripper.
You did?
I want to at least try the first one.
I liked it, but I didn't like the twist. I don't want to spoil it.
I mean, again, these are some of the things where I never pick up on the things that come down. So I was just like, that blew my mind when it happened. I was like, what?
That's
this is
so funny in the series. I was like, yeah, talking about God and blah blah blah, and you were like, I didn't even pick up on that. I was like, really? Like, it wasn't even being mean. I was just like,
nope. And that's the thing.
Nicole gets it. It's like it's so predictable, but like I enjoyed it for what it was. The romance was nice in it.
Honestly,
is it a quick
read?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah,
for everyone that picks up on like the most obvious of things, those are the ones that go over my head. I'm like, I couldn't have
talking about it
out of a lineup if you gave me a picture of the person beforehand. Like it never would have happened. But then all of these other things where you guys are just like, I never saw that coming. I was like, I saw that coming from a mile away. Like they dropped these clues here and there for you.
I think, but you're also like her worlds, and I feel like because I'm not saying she's a bad writer, but like I'm not swept up in it, that I pick it up easier, maybe.
Yeah. Second book, Nicole, I can tell you already. I'm almost positive it's the second book, unless if it was the last book, because things happened in the last book, and he was a little bit of a liar.
I got the whole set at a used bookstore, so I didn't lose.
I mean, let's do it after or in between our Red Rising. Next year, we're gonna have a lot of open time. I think, I know I've kind of hinted at this. I probably even said it before. Honestly, I can't remember week to week. It's basically
we talked about it a little bit during the Fourth Wing live show, but I don't remember if that was during the live or where like.
I think it was during the live, right?
I think so. Basically, I'm thinking we're going to go down to like one official book a month, but we'll still have 2 lives. The second live being basically we just come on and hang out for a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour.
Talking about our TBRs or what we're reading and all that stuff.
Yeah, or if we read one book in the series, so say that we do Stalking Jack the Ripper or something, and then everyone's just like, oh my God, I love it. Okay, well, read as far as you can, and then we'll go for as many books. But then that just kind of frees us up, because I know that sometimes doing 2 books a month, while I love it,
burnout.
It makes it hard, especially when everyone else is just like, you should do this with me, and you should do this with me. And I'm like, when am I going to sleep?
I feel like that's the bad thing about series. Like, you have so many series, and if you prioritize one, I feel like I get burnt out on like an author. Even if I love them,
I get burnt out.
If I read like 5 to 6 books by them in a row, like I will want to like pull my hair out.
And that's
because a lot of them are write very formulaically, and it just when you read them back to back to back, sometimes it can be just like, okay, I know this plot beat's going to be here. I know this is going to blah blah blah.
I mean, if it's an author you love, you're going to eat it up. Hashtag me and Kerri Maniscalco and now Meghan Quinn, because I feel like everything that she writes,
I am
just
so
like,
jealous that you love her, because I want to love her because I like her as a person.
I feel like Jen is like easier to please as a reader.
I am.
Like things that would bother me and Alicia, they don't
picky.
bother Jen as much.
Yeah, I'm so picky now.
But then, like, if there's one thing that gets under my skin, then it's just like a downfall from there.
Yeah, I feel like if the book mentions like anything about like the dad related stuff, then Jen, that's the only reason why. That's the only way.
But Meghan Quinn does that. She does. She's like, should I call you daddy? I was like, absolutely not. Do not even put this. Charles, I need you to warn me. If at any point Daddy Kink slips into her work, I need you to be like, Jen, you have to know it's in this book. It's just like with that and like rape. I need to know these things because either I have to prepare myself mentally or I just have to decide this isn't for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can only really do Daddy Kink in like a shorter book. Like I can't do.
I don't
I
cross
can do
that
only
when I
do
or I
it when
remember
Dad
that.
will do.
For Dad, like your dad will do. Like when it was what 120 pages. Yeah, I got like. Did it get on my nerves sometimes? Yeah, but
I made a game out of it, and I think that's the only way I survived it. Liz, to your question on this one, is this the book called The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo? Because I think this is separate from her other books.
But isn't that the third in the Alex Stern one? I thought. I mean, I could be wrong. I thought it was.
This is the first one from what I'm seeing. It's April of next year, so you wouldn't have to do it.
Okay.
It's basically
I automatically assumed it was part of the Ninth House series, whatever that.
No, this one is a Renaissance historical fiction. Ooh, she said yes. I would love to read it, and if anything, we could put it on one of our off weeks, and you and I could read it. But yeah, maybe then we would do that in like May or June. So yes, you are going to have to break out your credit card. I don't know if you have to do Hellbent or Ninth House. I haven't read.
I want to do more research.
I don't think so. If it's a different thing, I don't think.
Ninth House kind of put me off just because there's a little bit of a child rape scene, and I'm not a fan of that. Oh yeah. So some big books, different story. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like Harlequins are different. Like they're formulaic, but they're meant to be.
But they're perfect. I call them popcorn reads or like brain candy reads. Like
Yeah,
I don't
they're easy to read.
Hard.
They have your predictable story beats, but they're done well. That's the thing; they're done well.
By certain authors.
Yeah.
Some authors.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of them because I saw they were Blaze. These are the standard ones. I have
changing their lines. Didn't they get rid of the purple one that was supposed to be like the steamy one?
No, they're getting rid of Desire, which is the yellow one, and making like a women's fiction line. And I'm like, but why?
Also, look at this step back, guys. Bam!
Damn.
Yeah.
Immediately demonetized on YouTube.
But like, but they'll be the same. Okay, I'm gonna get in so much trouble because I love Harlequin, but like they'll be the same length, but they're trade paperbacks, so they're gonna charge $17 for them. Not all the Harlequins, but that specific line, the new line that's replacing the one that they're getting rid of at the end of the year.
So it's gonna be women's. Is it still gonna be romance though, or is it gonna be more?
There's gonna be romance in there, but it's more.
Oh, but it's like Emily Henry, like those type of books.
Yeah, and they're all like cartoony covers, which I don't like. That's just me. I don't like.
Then you probably didn't love the 10th anniversary editions of Meghan Quinn, the Mother Road. I showed you guys that
picture. I want that framed on my wall.
Perfection.
But do I want the
it's gonna go
on my wall?
right here on my shelf when I get it, and everyone will just have to stare at it for all of time.
Meghan Quinn, she usually has really good covers.
He does.
All right, I guess we should get back to the book a little bit.
Oh, yes.
So anyone here? No, it's fine because there are people that were popping in to say hi, and I was like, this is good conversation to get him going. But anyone watching back, they're going to be like, did you guys even read the book? Of course we read the book. So anyone that hasn't read it, super sorry, but spoilers are going to be abound from here forward. Question for you guys, and I don't know if this is something that I just did, but this is something that irked me because I was trying to create a character list of like places and people just because there were a lot of them, and I figured keeping it on my phone would be a lot easier because I could update things. Knowing people's true name, super important. I feel like each of the brothers at one point called another brother Levi. Did anyone else pick up on this, or is that just me?
They called Sloth Low. I don't know what that's short for. I'm thinking Ludlow.
Well, I think low because sloth, S-L-O, low, just for that. Or that's what he wanted to be called because he didn't like being called sloth. But they each referred to them at one point, and I put it on a page because it was a Post-it note at one point. Or
didn't they call Raph Levi?
Yeah, Levi.
Yeah.
He called Sloth Levi. Page. Okay, this is the special edition from Barnes and Noble. Page 548 and 549. On this party over here, Envy's talking to Pride, who's like down in the dumps, and he goes, "Party over, Levi." And then down over here, Envy's talking to him, and then Pride says back to Envy, "Get to the point, Levi. What does Levi mean? Is it key? Am I putting too much into this? I need answers. Is it like something for their last name? Is it something Latin? It
could be a shortened Latin term.
Yeah, maybe.
I need to know what it is.
That wouldn't surprise me because of how she's named the other characters. If it was a shortened term for like sibling or something.
Oh, maybe like brother. Okay.
Yeah, brother or sibling. Again, I haven't looked at like my Latin textbook since like high school, so I'm digging deep here.
Because I think I read this book like a couple weeks ago, so I don't remember.
You finished it before we had the Fourth Wing book. That's what.
Yeah, I finished Fourth Wing a month or two ago, and then I started Throne of the Fallen because I was like, oh, these are gonna be chunky books.
Yeah.
And this one took me like 2 weeks, and I'm just like, not that I wasn't enjoying it.
At certain
points, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And this just,
I think it took me about a week.
This is too long.
Meaning United Jointed.
Like, I enjoyed it more than the other two because I really liked Kingdom of the Wicked, and I didn't like the other.
You did. I remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't hate them. The pacing was weird in the other two. And the third one was just sex on every other page because they didn't have sex in the other two. That was it.
Old Testament. I mean, I would believe that. I mean, maybe it has to do kind of going off of this, joined, that it's a family thing. It's just a familial term. Yeah. But I need it.
Of course, Liz would know that. Liz would be able to pull that out of her brain bank. I love it.
But why do I feel like this is like another? I feel like this is like in like I remember when just thinking about this book, I think about Sarah J. Maas. And I just made the connection in my head. Like Jen loves Sarah J. Maas, and she loves Kerri Maniscalco connection. I'm like starting to like build like a network of your book taste.
So if you have Jen pegged, what's mine?
What?
I'm just too
if you have Jen pegged with what her taste is, what's mine?
Okay.
I'm just curious.
I can describe characters to you. Like I can see what character you go for. You need a heroine that's not dumb.
Yes.
True. I was like as soon as you started, I was like Alicia.
Artificial angst. Like if there's gonna be real problems, like have it be an actual problem.
Yeah.
And no miscommunication. That would be your vibe.
Boom. Boom. That's me in a nutshell. Boom.
I mean, Charles, you did. You nailed it on the head. Perfection. Beautiful.
I just thought about that. I was like, oh wow, that it all connects.
It does. Oh yeah. I do think that I'm really easy to please. As long as I'm entertained, great. If you have a bunch of stuff where I have to do a lot of thinking, I have to be in the right mood to read it. So that's why sometimes fantasy, I'm just like, huh?
Did I have little quibbles with Fourth Wing? Yes, but I had a good time still.
Okay. Yeah, no, I really like this one. So I guess we could let's just start with
what do you guys think about the betrayal, like with her being a fae and like being a princess?
I knew she was something.
The whole like about to invade the human world, and the best friend coming over from the human world.
Well, as soon as they said the dad said the line of the first person I sent didn't work, I was like, oh, I bet you anything that was Kitty.
And what about
the mother? That the cat was a lion, though. That was kind of awesome.
I know. The mom, I honestly thought the mom was going to come back at some point, and she may in like a different novel because that has more to do. I feel like that just kind of gets left unanswered.
I feel like
but she's been gone
back because another sibling is taking over Because I do think the mother loved the heroine to create a life for her.
Yeah.
And give her a father and everything like that.
Yeah, and I think it was because of that she turned out to be like
As
normal
human morals. Yeah. And I love that she, like, even though Pierre was her human father, she always called him his human father after we found out everything. Like, he always associated him as more of a father figure versus
he was there.
her dill hole of a Lennox, because that guy needed to be stabbed through the eye socket and then just flayed alive.
But don't you love her past fling? He was so.
I did.
Okay, that was so petty, and I loved it.
He was like so petty. Like, maybe I'll just go be with her while you sulk in the cell.
I was not a huge fan at first, and then he said that line, like, he was just like, well, if you don't want, and like, he had this whole description. I was like, damn. And then all of a sudden, and he was like, no, she's mine. I was like, you provoked him. Like, I think you might be a good guy. It's one of my little post-it things. I was just like, is Wolf supposed to be good? And I do love
his side story because I like him better than a lot of the main characters.
I had a feeling Wolf was a good guy from the when we first met him.
I like Blade too. Blade was a surprise twist. I ended up really liking him. Yeah, a lot of those people. It's actually, I'm not going to say that because that's going to get real controversial, political.
I like Sloth. Sloth was a fun brother.
Yeah, he's my kind of guy. Sit and read a book all day. I'm like, I'm down.
I love, and they did this in the last book too, where it's just like, to show up unannounced is basically an act of war. And then they just stab him, and like the girl goes, oh my god, you just killed him. He's fine, he'll come back.
Right, you could walk
just like running around
like while you're waiting.
And then she's like, where's his body? Like, you just killed your brother, you heartless monster.
I mean, she almost killed her father. Although
wherever he gets thrown, and he goes,
like, he's fine, he'll come back. He'll be angry.
I think Vexley's going to come back, because as soon as she chopped off his head, I was just like, oh yay, find a fire, because they did that with the main guy, Prometheus. I can't remember, it starts with a Z, but Envy had basically like cut his fire, and she just put his head next to his body, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he'll find a way to get it back on. He's just the worst of the worst.
He's a slime ball.
He was so gross, and when she killed him the first time, I was so happy. I was just like, oh my god, is that your power?
Like, it's too early in the book.
It was so, yeah. I didn't love. No. We're saying we don't love Vexley. Vexley is on par with Dane from
Vexley was trash.
Okay, but Vexley was worse because he was like trying to like sexually coerce her. Like, Dane was just being a butthole.
Yeah, true.
I don't think Dane is like true like villain territory.
Vexley is just like a slimy. Ugh.
He's just,
no wonder he's
straight up a.
He was a social climber.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And apparently he was playing this nebulous game. That's the only thing that bothers me. He had 600 pages.
If you're gonna have
talk about a game, and at the end you still don't quite know what this game was.
The game was to get, basically, the way that I understood it was, the game was to get, I was gonna say Amelia, she's from the first book, Camilla, involved to the point where that she got to the end, and she was basically supposed to be the winner, because they wanted to give her back her powers. And then at that point she was in the wild court, or the unseelie court, to paint the key
throne
that would then allow humans into his realm, which would then just create mass chaos. Like, that I did not love. That scene where she's like, yeah, they're stripping off flesh as they're still alive, and this lady no longer has legs. And I was just like, that's so terrible. Lennox needs to die so bad.
I feel like the way you explained it, like, because the book is so long, it takes so long to get to those like beats that you're talking about. So like, you're kind of like, for the whole like first half of the book, you're like, okay, you go here. She's still refusing to paint this hex throne or whatever, and then her powers and then I was like, okay, That's the part where it kind of lost me a little bit, and I was just more there for when are they gonna get together?
Banging out. I think the reason why they did that was so that she could become involved in the game and be a game player. Because I think ultimately what Lennox was trying to do, the game master, was to get Camilla back home, because she left and he didn't like that. Vexley probably could have been removed and saved tons of space. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I feel like she should have lost her powers in the beginning, though, and then put her in the game
powerless,
like from the beginning. Because it was kind of like, okay, what is she? I just like they kept so much secret about her character that she was like a fae and everything and all of this.
And it was so late in the book when you found out.
And then it just happens, boom, 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 boom. I was like, okay.
I was like,
I already knew something was off with her because like that she can have these powers, but I was like, oh, maybe we're gonna do something like different with this. Like anytime I think games, I think Hunger Games, or like something like that comes to mind. And then this game, I was like, okay, like because the first scene where we see Rat Envy in his court, I was like, I quite don't understand what's going on. Was going on in this scene. It was like a little bit of a confusing scene to read on the first jump, and you're like, okay. And the game, like all the game rules sound so like deadly and everything. Yeah. And then you actually get into the game, it's like it's not that high of stakes. It's kind of like,
Well, the stakes. I mean, yeah, we're not really sure what
go down the tube, but like that won't happen.
I don't know.
And I don't know if you felt this way, Jen. Every time they said Unseelie Court, I just kept on thinking of the In Ash series because it's brought up in the In Ash series a lot. Like, stop it. That's not, no, the wrong book.
I actually didn't think of it. Didn't, yeah, no.
Literally, it's gross. I'm like, I know it's probably just a regular term, but every time they said it, I'm just like, no, the wrong book, wrong book.
Wrong book. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like there were little clues here and there that, I don't know, I was annotating, so I like to do like theories. So I did 3 different colors, and one of them was like a theory color. So every time like they said something or they caught on it once or twice, I'd highlight it and be like, oh, well, you know, this could be some crazy thing. Like at one point, I think there was someone, it might have ended up being Wolf, but I thought it was a woman with white hair that was going around certain forests, and I was just like, I wonder if that's keep saying Amelia, Camilla's mom.
I was also thinking it could be whatever Amelia's sister's name is, the one that
Victoria. I think it did end up being Victoria, but I couldn't remember what color hair she had. I'm a terrible reader.
I don't know, like that's the one part where I do agree with Charles that there should have been more explanation with who Victoria was. If you really wanted this to be a standalone, there should have been a little bit more. Like the book's almost 700 pages. She could have put a page in explaining a little bit or a paragraph.
And I don't think this book needed to be that long.
Nope, I agree.
I think that's where I started getting confused about the game. Like when it came to like the quest. Like the quests weren't exactly clear because all I understood was that he needs her to paint this throne, but she won't. And like I was like, was that the only quest that they had to do? Because they went here, they went here, they went to the underworld.
Quests. What are you talking about? So they had to get the throne.
I don't feel like we're going anywhere. Like my mind, that's why I was like.
Besides the fact that they banged on the chair multiple times.
I like that scene.
That was like way at the end. You guys are missing like so many things in between. I'm just like, we went from, having to paint the throne, and then it was just like, you got to go see Sloth. So then we go to Sloth and do that, and then they find the orb, and then the orb they have to go. I think that was when did they have to go to Wrath after that? No, they had to go somewhere else. No, that's when she got stolen away by the vampires, and the vampire thing happened, and then they had to figure out the underground stuff. Where we found out that Vexley was a vampire, and there's that weird thing where they lost like days of their time, and they had 30 minutes to figure out this whole thing. And then they got to the Wild Court, and then we found out that the dad was a dill hole, and then they had to stab him through, and then it ended.
The way you explained it, like, did I read the same book?
I mean, does anyone else remember that, or am I the only one?
But that's
I mean,
why
those are like bullet
long,
points.
because I feel like they tried to fit so much into this, and it just got a little glazed over in certain parts for me. Like,
I think I just glazed over the whole middle part. Then I came back.
I mean, I physically sat and read it, so that was another thing.
Okay,
for a
I did the
majority.
audiobook.
Yeah, I did the audio too.
So maybe it was just a difference of the type.
Yeah.
The type, yeah.
Yeah,
I like the male narrator. The female narrator kind of got on my nerves.
She was the same narrator from the first series, so I was just like, as soon as I heard her, I'm just like, oh no.
I kind of like did not like Shane a little bit in this one. I know that's gonna be controversial.
I'm surprised.
I normally love Shane, but in the first couple of chapters, he would constantly change the volume of his voice and like do very different accents. The accents weren't that bad. It was more the volume. So if I tried to put it on 2.5, then when he drops into whispers, I can't understand him. So then I go back to 2, and then I had to. But as the book went on, when it was just mostly just him in that character's head, it got better. But that was like the only thing that kind of made it the book hard for me to get into the first place.
That's my issue with the female narrator is like I had this complaint with the other books as well. Like I feel like every chapter ends on like a cliffhanger, like that. Like I'm just like
that's not true because there's 70 chapters. It would be a whole roller coaster, but a good majority of them did.
I feel like I liked the beginning and the middle lost me.
Yeah, the middle was too long.
That was the biggest thing. I like, and now that you explain it like that, like what they were doing, all those quests, I was like, but in my mind, it was like, okay, we're just going through the motions right now. We're just like going A to B to B to C to C to D, and then we're going to see like where this all turns up. So that's why I felt like the book could have been shortened. I feel like that's a trend with romances now. I don't know why. Almost all romances now are like over 500 pages. I feel like
JLA started that one. Like there was no need for the others. Her Jennifer.
But contemporaries are over 400 pages now.
Why?
Fantasy romance is
like nobody has that kind of time.
Harlequin is 256 pages, and they do it perfectly fine. Why?
But I feel like that's a trend now. Like it's crazy. Like look at Meghan Quinn. Almost all her books are like around 400 pages, which is like incredibly long for a contemporary.
Too long.
I feel like that's the trend now. Like you pick up a book and it's like, oh, it's 17 hours on audio. You're like, what? And this is a contemporary romance?
When the audios are like 15 plus, I'm like, can you not? Because sometimes I feel like the book itself isn't that long, but then you go, well, why is the audio that long?
I don't pay attention to book pages because, like, I know, like formatting.
Yeah.
Like YA books like appear thicker, but like they may be shorter.
Well, they also do bigger fonts with a lot of them. Again, not complaining. As someone with vision issues, that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I'm old now. When I open up some books and I see large font, and I'm just like,
I'm officially an old lady because I buy the large print Harlequins because they're only $54 and I can see and I don't have to spend.
When I get books and I open it, I'm just like, what's happening here? This is so small. These are tiny words. My eyes. I feel it.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's in that boat. Like they just do that because they can print them for much cheaper.
Yeah. 900-ish. That's a lot. That's currently what I'm going through. I'm still reading House of Earth and Blood, but I'm reading like a chapter a night, if that. But I'm still going strong on my Kindle streak, so I'm not complaining on that. Yeah. Charles, did you ever sign up for any of those special edition boxes? Have you started getting any of your special edition books?
I haven't gotten off the wait list for most of them. For the ones that you recommended, I haven't got off the wait list.
Well, definitely look into Bookish Box. I know they're a little bit behind, but they're really getting ahead, like they're catching up. But at the start of the year, it's going to change to something called Darkly, which is just like they're basically like late night. So if you're looking for romance and having a bunch of different varieties, see if you can't get on the adult book for that one. But yeah, they're good.
Yeah, there was one, but it wasn't one that you recommended. But I didn't like the books. But other than that, I haven't gotten off the. I was surprised I haven't gotten off the waiting list.
Loot. I read this series a long time ago.
I forgot the name of the company. It was pretty. It's an Australian company. I can't remember the name. Like Fable Co. or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They have like the 3 different tiers. Yeah. That's the one I got off the wait list, and I saw the books like, not on audio. I'm good. Oh yeah, because it was Karina Holly's her mermaid book was one of the picks.
Mermaids, give me mermaids.
Because I know it's gonna come on audio, but the other one I was like, I don't know if you're gonna come on audio.
Does anyone have anything else to say about this book? I feel like I could talk about like random little things, but also now I'm just like,
I love the female friendship in the books. I love the friendship between the brother, like the camaraderie between the brothers, on how they look out for each other in their own ways. And then what else? What else? It was.
I like the reappearance of the crescent showers. Oh yeah,
I liked her more than anything.
How she was like, I don't want to get married, and she's like standing toe to toe, but then she's also like, I remember her best friend is like, you should get you a man on the side so you can have some fun.
Like a late night party.
All her time, like when she's interacting with the hero, is like, I don't want to like him, but like, goodness, he's good looking. Just once.
The banter was good between those two. I will say that.
I do like how strong she was as a character. Just she didn't back down from. She's like, no, you're right. Like, let's go toe to toe. I can take it. Yeah.
Oh, like remember when Bexley was about to catch him in the room with the painting?
Huh?
Oh no, what was it? Like, and he wouldn't leave.
Fell on top of him.
Yeah.
When she fell off the bed trying to take the painting off the wall in Bexley's bedroom.
I knew that was as soon as she's like, why won't this come off the wall? And I was like, bet you like anything that either it's spelled or more than likely spelled by envy. And sure enough, it was.
Yeah, I just like that. Like when he tried to like switch tactics and try to seduce her, and then she's like, "Are you trying to sleep with me to get me to work for you?" She's like, "I'm even more offended." She was a.
But I also like that.
I think it's a 4.5 for me. I don't know if I can give this one a 5. Like there was something about like I got to a certain point, and maybe it's because I was trying to rush, and at that point I kind of always go downhill in my liking of a book because I'm just like, okay, let's get through it to get through it. I might end up still rating it a 5 and then being like 4.5 because I probably, thinking back on it, did really enjoy parts of it, or most.
I also like that she wasn't like the prim, proper, like virginal character of that.
Yes. As soon as that happened, I was like, oh my God, Alicia's probably loving this because I know that's another thing that you always hate. And you're just like, why do they always have to be a virgin? This one was.
I always, with historical specifically, I give it more grace because that's how it's supposed to be written. But I don't like when you read like certain Harlequins and the virgin is like 32. I'm like, no.
Not realistic, friends. Oh man. Didn't feel rushed. I lost track.
See,
all right, so it seems like everybody was
the only one.
Yeah, the middle section was a little. It was convoluted. Like I liked what she was trying to do with it. Yeah. I feel like she overstuffed the middle.
Yeah.
I can tell Kerri just read Rick Riordan. He will tell you how to structure like a really good plot. Like all of his books are formulaic, but they're so easy to follow. Like they have a quest, they do these little things, and then they arrive to their finale. That's essentially what she did. She did a quest book.
Interesting.
And what's funny to me is I wonder if she's formulaic in that way with the first series because they were. I don't think it exists anymore, but they were James Patterson Presents books. Because that's what it says on the cover of my book.
Yeah.
James Patterson.
It does. It was.
It was.
Yeah, this one I don't think was. I think this is Little Brown.
I think they canceled that line.
Yeah.
I think so.
There's certain books though that the cover still has James Patterson Presents. Which
I could see that, yeah.
Which newsflash, he hasn't written his own book since 2006. He has had ghostwriters since 2006.
When someone told me that Tom Clancy died like over 20 years ago.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all ghostwriters.
Yeah, like all of those books, like Tom Clancy and another author. They usually just find the manuscript and they say, "Oh, this will make a great Tom Clancy book."
Have someone spruce it up.
That's insane.
And then slap his name. They've been doing that for years.
I mean, James Patterson isn't dead, but I don't think he's writing his own books anymore.
I don't think
he may like have like editorial, like he gives his feedback or something, but he may not.
The only one I'm genuinely curious about, he wrote one with Dolly Parton, and I love Dolly Parton, so I'm gonna read that one.
I think he still writes. He maybe writes to a certain degree, but I don't think. I think he might have a ghostwriter for some books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, this is brand new information to me.
Well, because that's what publishers do. They'll maybe put like an up and coming author, and like if they have the rights to the name, they'll say, "Oh, this is a new Tom Clancy book."
Yeah,
and then eventually, sometimes the author will spin off on their own.
Cussler. I don't know if he's still alive or not. My grandmother reads all his books. That's the only reason I know the name.
I feel like the names that come out with a book like every year, like multiple books every year for traditional publishing, because that's
at least
hard to
2
do.
A year.
That's hard to do.
And they're not skinny either.
Yeah.
They're chunkers.
But I like this book. I think I might give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I think
he's a 3.5 and a 4, so maybe a 3.75.
Okay.
I'll give it a 4 on Goodreads.
Yeah, 4 on Goodreads. I always round up.
Yeah, I always round up unless if there's something like really just
yeah.
And it's always like an untold thing where you're just like, I can't put my finger on it, but this time I don't want to round up. Like there's enough of something that I'm just like, we're gonna go down.
Like that Truth or Kill book that we read for Aaron's book club that I hated. That was so bad. Like it was so bad. I don't think I've ever rated something 1 star in my life until that book. It was so bad.
God, Custer's dead. I had no idea.
Yeah. There's a lot of like the big authors that you see on like the books.
This is like blowing my mind right now.
It blew my mind too. That's I think some authors are very keen on it. They own their name, so publishers can't do that.
All right. Well, I think we're done with the book. I also have a really long drive in front of me. I came home to do the live stream, but I'm house sitting somewhere that doesn't have internet. So I've got like a 45-minute drive ahead of me. So I'm going to try and keep it. I meant to tell you guys before the live, I'm like, we're going to have to keep it 10 hour. But we've got a lot of announcements. So it is this Saturday. Yes. This Saturday over on Alicia's channel, she is reading The Vile Thing We Created by Robert P. Autumn? How do you say it? Atone. It'll be at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Do we want to do a screenshot? I don't know. All right. Also, we'll do this one because this is technically the next one that we're going to do. On this channel, 2 weeks from today, luckily, everyone give yourselves a round of applause. We have made it through the meatiest books of the year. We are now down to books that I think are 300 pages or less because we have 2 Harlequins. We have a Cozy Mystery by Julie and Lindsey, which is Jacqueline Frost, her pen name. And
288 pages, so it's not that bad.
Really short novella for Resting Scrooge Face in December. But the next one, and Nicole will be on this one just because this book is with her as the heroine, is Closing In on Clues. Please note that as of November 5th, there is a time change. So it will be at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Or if you're in Arizona, it will remain 6 p.m. Like it is now. But please go ahead and take a screenshot. Charles, I love that. And then this is the following week after that. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but for
It's
anyone
on my
who's been
channel.
following along
Guys,
with the
are
Red
on the
Rising
third
Rewind.
book?
Yeah.
I still haven't
Next
finished
year,
book 1.
next year we
Book
are
2
going to be
is so
splitting them
good.
up into part 1 and part 2. So you're okay, but just to kind of get now you have the pressure, Charles, because you know it's going to be 3 weeks from today.
But I still have book 1 on hold from the library. It hasn't come in yet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Try
I got
Hoopla.
a
They have-
Morning Star, but I was like, what am I going to do with the third book when I haven't read the first 2 books?
Yeah, you definitely at least want to read the second one.
Well, do you have
but I would say-
script? Because they're on script.
I do, but then they blocked me. I hit my limit.
Rude. If you go on Hoopla, was Hoopla the one that you had the dramatized version of, Alicia?
Yep.
So check Hoopla maybe.
Okay.
It wouldn't be the regular one, but you'd have the dramatized version of it.
I think that's why I didn't finish it, because I listened to the dramatized version, and they split it up into 2 parts. So I just read part 1. I was like, oh, okay, I'll get around to part 2. Never did.
You're like, maybe, but no.
It was good.
It is good.
I don't know why they split it up, because they split it up in a part where it didn't have a cliffhanger. It was just over.
They did it because they want to get more credits out of one person. Like they did it with Golden Sun too, and it makes me angry.
I think they do that with like almost all the first books in their series. If they're longer, they'll
I don't feel like Red Rising is that long. Although the way that
350 pages.
I think the regular audio is like what, 12 hours or something like that.
Yeah, but that guy talks really slow.
Charles, you know I'm not a huge bump it up person, but with him, I have to bump it up. He talks so damn slow that I can't do it.
I couldn't get into the regular audio, so I had to go the.
Everybody's Irish. What the? Everybody's Irish.
Oh my god. Oh man. All right.
But he dropped it for book 2. Like everybody was Irish in book 1, but book 2 he had a normal voice. I was like, what the? And it's the same freaking narrator. I'm like, sir.
Oh man. Well, on that note, I would like to thank all of my co-hosts that have been here today. Thank you guys for reading. Charles, are you not going to be here the next time? I think I looked at the doc and you didn't sign up for like the rest of them, and now I'm sad. You can pop into
the Meghan Quinn one.
Okay, so we'll see you in December. But you'll be in the comments. You always pop in.
Comments, yeah.
I appreciate that.
I need to catch up on some review copies.
I can't blame you there.
Same.
Yes, so thank you both, and then thank you everyone for watching, whether it's live right now or later on the live stream, the recorded version, whatever. Don't forget to like and follow my co-hosts. I believe I put all of their stuff in the description box below. I think I mentioned everything, so I'm gonna go ahead and just say hope y'all have a great night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.